I feel like it was always kind of there. Like, I was a late bloomer when it came to crushes. Like, even when I did like have feelings for people, I was like, I mean, I guess they're nice looking, but I mean, why would I want to do anything with that? Like, I didn't even want to get married as a kid. All my friends are talking about, like, oh, I can't wait to have a husband. And like, no, I just want to have the kids. Like, I'll skip the husband part. It became more apparent, like, maybe late high school into college, because that's when people start talking more about sex. They're having sex. And, they're like excited about it. In my mind, I'm like, okay, like, well, once I start dating, then those feelings are going to come. And then even when I was dating, I was like, I don't want to have sex. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe I'm just really good at waiting till marriage, because I was also Christian. So I'm like, maybe God's just like, I've gifted you with this superhuman ability to like resist the temptation. But
I think 28-ish. I'd spent a lot of years just dating and kind of wondering why it doesn't quite feel like something that's for me. And then my mom had a really invasive conversation with me. She was just, asking all sorts of interesting questions about, sex and romance and all of that. And when I was talking to her, she kind of brought up sexual attraction in a way. And I was like, no, I've never felt that. And then I was like, wait, okay.
When I was probably about 25, I'd known about asexual before. One of my close friends is asexual, but I didn't know about the spectrum. All I knew was kind of, I thought it was like an all or nothing process, But when I did find out about the spectrum from Tumblr, of all places, I don't know, it was kind of like when I was 15 and figured out like the word bi, and it's like, oh wait, you're allowed to like both. It was that kind of like something in me like clicked, like, oh, that's me. Somehow that's me. So yeah, when I discovered the spectrum and discovered gray asexual, it was like the aha moment, the light bulb going off.
I was in my 40s. I was actually married at the time. Basically, we were having issues with our marriage. And so we went to couples therapy, and I just was not having the, sex drive or the libido that kind of was expected of like a married couple. We went through several therapists, and unfortunately they were all allo therapists. So there were a lot of allo solutions to the problem, which I didn't realize was an issue. And finally, we got to a narrative therapist who was very helpful. And she finally just one day said, it sounds like this is just who you are. And I thought, well, no, that can't be right, because I'm trying to fix something. You know what I mean? I'm here because this isn't working, and I'm trying to fix something, and there's something broken. And she said, well, are you familiar with asexuality? And I was like, scientifically I am.
So I think the first time I started to recognize it was my first serious boyfriend in college. It sort of ended our relationship a little prematurely when, things were starting to get more physical, and I started to realize I wasn't really looking forward to it. And so I thought, well, maybe it's just, a partner issue. And so, breaking up, moving on. And then it kept happening with other partners. And I thought, well, am I just choosing the wrong people? Is there something wrong with me? Or maybe is this just who I am?
I knew I was different in probably middle school when everybody was, getting those hormones going. And I was just like, still waiting. All my friends were talking about, wanting to hook up with people and all that stuff, and I'm just like, I just want friends. Why is that not okay?
So I found out, because actually the friend themselves, they actually came out as gray asexual. So I was like, let me question this. Then that's when I came across the title asexual. I think probably for the first time when I was like at least, probably 24, 25 when I came across it. I was like, oh, maybe this might be me.
I wish I would have grown up in the now times instead of what I did, because I didn't even know that asexuality was a thing until about 5 years ago.
I was probably 38 or 39, and I was living and working in China, and it was the first opportunity I'd had in my life to start learning about LGBT plus issues and start figuring myself out, and it was very liberating.
I knew for sure when I was 16. I was part of a 130-girl high school girl swim team, and we went on a training trip to Florida. And at the training facility in Florida, the French men's Olympic team happened to show up. And all of my teammates, so many of my teammates were just like, this something went over them of they were just fascinated and intrigued and wanted to get pictures and interact with these people all the time. And I did not get it. And it finally occurred to me, and I didn't know the word from the internet or anything, but I actually had the word asexual in my own head.
I had a feeling, I think I was about 17, and I was in a relationship with a girl at the time, and things just weren't lining up where they kind of should be, like sexuality-wise. She would always kind of get pushy, and not to get too much into that, but having all of that and just going, wait a second, why am I not into this? And it kind of was in the back of my mind, but I didn't fully accept it until probably a year or two ago.
About 2 years ago. Asexuality, I think it took me about half a year to figure out that I'm somewhere on the ace spectrum. I just looked at videos from different queer creators. From there, I went on to memes, and it just all felt too familiar.
When I was 22, and I had suspicions about it earlier, like 2 years earlier probably, all related to the only relationship I've ever had. Basically 2017, when we split, I finally invested the time to think about it all more, and then figured out and read more about asexuality, and really started to figure out that, okay, this makes sense. So yeah.
I didn't know a term for it. I'd never seen it anywhere or heard of it anywhere. And I went on the internet one day. I was just like, there's got to be some name for this experience. And I found AVEN, the Asexual Visibility Education Network. I was like, oh, I'm not alone. There are other people. There is a word.
In 2012, I tagged myself as homosexual, and I started talking to the people through my secret profile on Facebook. So I joined some groups. They used to share a lot of images or links of the videos which contain sexual intimacy, and I always felt awkward, or I never felt that sense of connecting with these sort of contents.
I think that slowly as I grew up, I realized that I don't really need someone. I don't really need someone to be in a relationship with. I could, just maybe like them as a friend and not more. And I feel like that's when I knew that I don't feel like I would want or need someone by my side to complete me, because I feel like I'm really happy being alone and being independent, and I started to feel like maybe I just don't really feel as much as others in terms of romantic relationships or anything more than that, like intimacy and intimate relationships.
At 19, I found the word asexual on a Google search, but I actually thought I was asexual at 19, but because everyone was telling me asexuality is not real, and all the people I tried to tell, and when I officially came out, they all were like, no, you can't be asexual, that's not real. Or for years I kept trying to find myself, and then I found the word asexual after another search, and I came across an old bookmark on my computer, and I was 26, and then I finally found it, and I'm like, oh yeah, now this is for real. And I thought for sure, yeah, I'm asexual, and I knew for sure then.
You can support our short film about asexuality by contributing to our crowdfunding campaign through the link in our bio. Thank you.